I believe that right from the beginning, I was given a punishment that didn't fit the crime. It was just a robbery, but they added 3 counts of kidnapping, and they added burglary, and they added these different things so that they can give you as much time as they possibly can. So no one was injured, no one was hurt, the weapons weren't even loaded. Nothing happened that didn't happen in any other robbery that someone gets 5 to 10 years for. I'm not saying that I was right in any way. I take full responsibility for the dumb, ridiculous, stupid mistake that I made when I was 18 years old. But what is the purpose of prison? The purpose of prison is not only to punish the person for the crime they committed, but to also rehabilitate them, correct? And that's exactly what has happened with me. I've done and I've shown that I'm not the person that I was when I was 18 years old. I'm a completely different person. So everything that they desire from a person when they have committed a crime has been accomplished in me. I'm hoping, I'm praying that everything is going to come to light. The time that I did in prison last time was much easier than the time that I'm doing right now, for the simple fact that I didn't have a family before. See, when I was in prison before I went in as a child, I didn't have a wife, I didn't have any children, I didn't have any of those things. And these 6 months that I'm experiencing now have been much harder than the entire 10 years I did before because of them. It's something that, runs through my mind every single day, all day, is that I have been taken from my family for really no reason. I can't really say that I'm angry or bitter. It's basically more hurt and unbelief than anything else. But I do believe that everything happens for a reason. So I'm just at a point of just trying to, wait on what that reason is and just allow the Lord to use me in whatever way He can.
Daddy's watching you.
I met Renee when I was 16, and it was just right, actually before he ended up getting arrested for the robbery. We kept in touch through letters, and I would go visit him. After Renee was in prison for about 8 years, he did contact me, and I knew the person that he was before compared to what type of person he was after those 8 years, and he was a completely different person. When he went in, he was kind of like a bad boy. He was a rowdy teenager. He was a player. And when he came out, he was just focused. He was teaching me about the Word of God, and I had no concerns about marrying him with his past. He was a completely different person. His interest was family. I almost couldn't believe how much he had changed, and he realized while he was in there that he made a big mistake. He spent pretty much his whole life in prison. Going in when you're 19 years old and coming out when you're a grown man. He had a lot of passion to do right. One of the things that I can remember most when he first got out was his passion to get a job and just employment. And I remember he had an interview at Radio Shack. I remember him coming home and just saying that the guy said that the interview went really well, and that the guy said, I would love to hire you, but I just can't because of your background. You have, a felony, and I can't hire a felon. And he just said, but I'm gonna just continue to figure something out. He said, I'm gonna find a job. So, we would look through the ads and stuff together, and he ended up getting an interview at Harmon Construction, and he was afraid of heights, and the job was installing windows into skyscrapers. And I was just like, are you gonna be able to do that? And he's just like, I'm not gonna let that scare me getting up there. And I remember his first day when he came home, his eyes were big, and he was just like, you would never believe how high up I was. And I was just laughing at him. I was like, were you scared? He's like, yeah, but I didn't tell the guys that I was scared. And he went from, making $13, $14 an hour to basically making the salary of a construction worker. So our joke was he's like, yeah, now I can finally say, that I'm taking care of you, babe. And it was great. and it's because he takes pride in any and everything that he does. He does it 100%. Rene, he's an awesome husband. He is really supportive of me, and he is all about the kids and all about me. The day I got the call, he was just like, I have something very important to tell you, and I need you to go somewhere to where you can really listen to what I have to say. And then he said, I got a call from the public defender's office. He said, well, they called because they said that they made a mistake on my sentencing. And I go, a mistake on your sentencing? I was like, that's dumb. Like, what kind of mistake on your sentencing? He says that instead of running my years consecutive, they run them concurrent. I automatically knew what that meant. His largest conviction was a 16-year conviction. So when they run all the years in a concurrent sentencing, you serve your largest conviction. And since it was a clerical mistake, they basically unrolled all of those sentences, and now they're sending him back to serve each one consecutive. And he goes, well, this is the important part, is what I have to tell you. And I'm like, okay. And he says is that they said that within 24 to 48 hours that I'm gonna be arrested and taken back to prison. And the police, I could like see them through the sliding glass door, and they just came, knocked on the door, and they were just like, so sorry, we have to do this. And they didn't have like their guns out or anything. It was probably about 10 cops though. They were really respectful. They let him hug the boys and give them a kiss and let him take off his clothes that he didn't want to take, like his watch, his wedding band, and all of that stuff. And then they cuffed him, took him. He didn't have any idea that this would happen, and neither did I. 98 years was pretty much life in prison. We would be basically going to see him forever behind bars. Sitting down at a table, he'll never get to play with his kids again. They don't allow him to stand up when we go. He's allowed to hug them when we first get there and when we leave. And I try not to think about that being my life. I don't even let that come out of my mouth. The hardest thing for me was to tell my kids where their dad really was. So I just kind of set them down one day and just told them, I have to tell you the truth that Daddy is in jail, and I don't know when he's coming home. And I just told them that we just have to pray every day and ask God to bring Daddy back home. And they still ask me every single day if Daddy's coming home today. And when we go see him, we start all over again. Are you coming home with us? How come you can't come home with us yet? When are they gonna let you come home? Every time the news people come, every time a reporter comes, well, maybe when they put this story out, that Daddy will get out of jail. I miss having a hard day at work and coming home and talk to him about it. We had no secrets, and I feel like I don't have my best friend. Now all of our conversations are 20 minutes. It's almost like a game. See how much you can talk about in 20 minutes. I'm gonna put you on speakerphone, okay? Come here, Daddy's on the phone.
Hi, Daddy. Hi, Daddy. Hi, Daddy. Good.
I miss you, darling.
I miss you too.
I love you.
I love you too.
I think my biggest fear of him not coming home is trying to raise them up to be the kind of man that he is now. Not for them to end up the kind of teenager that he was. And I think that's my My biggest concern is not having that father figure for my boys and not knowing if I'm doing the right thing as a woman raising 2 boys. I have a lot of fears for him. I pray for him daily, all day. I think it's different when you're in prison and you go in with that mindset like, yep, I did this, and you go in there, you have something to prove. And I think you fit right in. And what I fear for him is that he is not supposed to be there. And right now he does ministry to other guys, and he's focused on one thing, and that's getting back to his family. He did 8 years in prison with no write-ups. And I think that's almost unheard of. And I think that that should have been something that they looked at before they decided to pull him back. Like, was he, getting in trouble in prison? Was he getting in trouble out here? Like, to not do any research whatsoever before you just rip someone from their family. And I fear daily of my husband's safety in prison. Just because I know that he wants to get back to us so bad that probably if someone tried to hurt him in there, he probably wouldn't do anything back. And I think that God's using him for other people that may not have a chance otherwise, that when they get out may just go back in, and I believe when he's done with that reason that he'll be back home with his family. So until then, we're just going to continue to be patient, continue to keep praying, and continue to help people that need help. And I do know that when my husband gets out, that if he ever goes back into prison, it'll be to help the other people that are there.